What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, back for another video about what the hot niches of the week are. And I think you guys are gonna be not really that surprised what they are. However, I'm gonna talk about one niche that I've seen that has been fire the past couple weeks. And guess what I did? I finally decided to jump right in with a brand new book. And I'll be honest with you, I had it done quite a while back, but I've been a bit lazy with that. And later in the week, when I actually release another video, you guys will see why I've been lazy with that. But without further ado, I know I'm excited to see what the top 5 niches of the week. Now, one of them is a recurrent one, and I cannot ignore the fact that it is the hottest niche of the week. So let's go ahead and jump straight in and see what the rest are. And let's get started making some money. Okay, guys and girls, so where we're gonna begin our search for the hot sellers of the week and the top 5 niches is by Googling Amazon bestsellers. And let me kind of explain why as I jump into the bestsellers. We wanna take a look at not only what's selling well in the kids niche, but also overall books in general. So right here when I go, I can search by bestsellers or new releases. So I'm gonna jump into bestsellers specifically for books here. And when I'm in that category, what we're gonna see a lot of books about is anti-racism. So again, that for the second week in a row is the hottest book and hottest niche. And you're gonna see in a minute how brand new Kindle Direct publishers have taken their book from 0 to explosion in this niche just by publishing a book. And don't say that I didn't tell you so last week, but I'm gonna show you proof in this video. But the other thing that I see is right here, this book, Unreported Truths About COVID-19 and Lockdowns. I really think still that any book about coronavirus and being quarantined is going to be a red hot seller. So it's my number 2 hot niche of the week. And I still recommend people do those books, especially if they can get them out in about a week's time or so. I think it's almost going to be like a collector's edition, and people will be giving each other this book or this type of book as a gag gift almost all the way through Christmas. And again, during Prime Day, which we don't know when that's going to be, but we can almost assume that it's either in August and or September, since things are somewhat getting back to normal. So let's see what else I see as I scroll through here. And again, this is again the overall book niche on Amazon, but I can see one thing that stands out right here. This book by Crystal Radke, which is the top 2nd best overall seller of the year, is actually fallen to 17, and it's again behind all these anti-racism books, including this one, Anti-Racist Baby, which I think is pretty interesting. I would probably take a look at that one. And again, a lot of anti-racism books, as I said last time. And here's one that stands out. That is why it's my 3rd hottest niche of the week. I see the same pattern in the kids book. That is either dragons and or dinosaurs. And it's the exact reason why I just published my very first dragon book. So you guys will get to see the results of that actual book and how well it does. But again, dragons and dinosaurs, pretty much synonymous. Why not mix them together with a book about diversity, especially how to teach your dragon diversity? It's kind of almost like a parody on the series How to Train Your Dragon, or whatever that movie was where the kid gets the dragon and they do all this crazy shit on the dragon, right? But this time it's a dragon and teaching your dragon diversity, since, hey, all of us want a pet dragon, including me, thanks to Game of Thrones. And here again is llamas. We talked briefly about llamas and someone said, llama llama is trademarked. Yeah, no shit, buddy. I was just referring to, you can still name your own llama. Just because there's one trademark llama doesn't mean that you can't have multiple llamas on the market. Remember, there were shepherds at one point and none of them had to worry about trademarks. So name your llama something original if you're gonna do it. However, I wouldn't totally recommend the llama niche since I haven't really looked at it. And really, I only see one hot llama book on the market, which is Llama Llama. But in general, I do see, it sounds like I'm almost gonna break down into a song like Llama Llama something, but I do see llamas in general being hot for a lot of different books. So again, it could work out well, but it's not on my hot niches of the week. But who knows? I've been wrong other multiple times. And again, we talked last time about the dad niche, which is red hot. It's not going to be on my hot niche of the week because I want to give you fresh, brand new niches that are actually going somewhere. Dad's Day is pretty much has come and is almost gone. So I wouldn't be putting together dad's books at this very moment unless you're preparing for next year. And chances are you don't want to have to do that. Then you'll miss the train on all the delicious niches you can capitalize on this year. I do, however, want to point out one very creative way you could capitalize on the dad niche. And again, not possibly this year, but not until next year. That is dad jokes. Because who doesn't love a good dad joke? Alexa, tell me a dad joke.
A few moments later.
I don't even know what the hell she just said. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump into the bestsellers for kids activity book. And for that, we're just gonna go back and we're gonna look right here on children's books. So we are in the bestseller in children's books, and I still like to take a brief overview of this, and I'm not really gonna stop unless I find something important and I wanna point it out to you. But most of all, I don't really see anything that I haven't already talked about. I still have those top 3 niches that I absolutely love, and I'm not really seeing anything that I want to add to those, and or the ones that I talked about last week, which incidentally, they're still hot. And I did just find one more that I do like a lot, and it's good enough to put on the list. I can't remember if this was on the list last time, but it was around a truck theme, which I feel like a Jeep is almost a truck Jeep. And if you like Jeeps, why in the hell wouldn't you like sheeps in a Jeep? Because I can tell you this much, they can get in a lot more trouble than people in a Jeep. And if you don't believe me, watch Shaun the Sheep on Netflix. You'll see exactly what I mean when sheeps cause major shit to happen. So sheeps in a Jeep, again, it's a very creative way to put together a truck, something that kids love, as well as an animal, and nearly almost name the sheep, right? Sheeps in a Jeep. It's got a catchy title. I love saying it, and I know a lot of people are gonna love to buy it for their actual kids. So that's pretty much it for the bestsellers in children's book. Now, if we actually look specifically in the crafts niche, we're gonna see a lot more of things like I just said. And in a minute, we'll go in the new releases and we'll kind of round it off with a recap of what I took as the top 5 niches of the week. Okay, so here we have another dragon one, further basically showing that I'm on the right track, that dragons are hot. And again, they've been hot for kind of a while. Like I said, thanks to Game of Thrones, and they'll probably continue to be hot forever. And again, yet another anti-racism, and I really want to kind of jump into this one and show you guys what I'm talking about in terms of being fire. So this is #1 new release in children's coloring books. So let's take a closer look at this actual book. If I click into here and then look at the first pages, we can kind of see what they have going on. And all it basically is like positive statements about not being a racist, and then designs in the back. It's almost like those mandala designs. So it's really nothing out of the ordinary other than those statements. It's listed at $8.99. And if we actually take a look at this thing, it's been listed for a whole 4 days. And the rank right now is 1,281 for books. So about how many sales does that mean it would have to make in order to rank that well? Well, let's take a look at how many units it's probably selling. 1,281, and it's in books, and 123 one-day sales. So over the course of a single day or 2 or 3, it probably sold close to 100 to 200 units in order to get that #1 new release tag. And it had a heck of a lot of momentum from the simple fact that it was a book about anti-racism. Now, we can try and investigate further and see what else they did. And in order to do that, what I would actually do is click into her name and see what else she's actually published. And pretty much right now, it looks like it's just this anti-racist coloring book. And the simple fact of putting that in your title could really make you rank for #1. So let me go ahead and just out of curiosity, I'm gonna go back over to Amazon overall, anti-racist coloring book, and take a look at what the actual total amount of results is. A whole 38. And let's really take a look and see if there's anything that's popping up other than this coloring rainbow family storybook and a couple other anti-racist coloring books for kids that pop up. This one also doing pretty good. This is not an anti-racist coloring book, and realistically, there's really not a lot of them. So I see maybe those 2 and nothing else. And cocks make me happy is what it says here, which I can't even understand how in the hell that is an anti-racist coloring book. But again, people could be putting it and trying to rank it for that actual term because they see the actual amount of people searching for that. So once again, like I said, that is really the top couple niches that I have. The other one that I did see was the one that we just happened to pass a minute ago, which is the one on graduation. Even though I think that's came and gone, I still think a lot of people are sending belated gifts and or they really haven't had a chance to celebrate. And pretty much that's all I see in this particular category. Let's go ahead and jump to the final one and see what else I find there. One last one that I did want to mention that I totally missed on was this Kindle book, which is about a bird named Sammy. So this goes back to the theme that I talked about, naming actual animals and building an entire series around them. Because once again, if people like the artistry, if people like the illustration, they will buy multiple books from Sammy the bird versus just generic bird. Look at Big Bird, for crying out loud. Would we not agree that Big Bird is the goofiest looking mother effer that there is? Yet I followed him. I wanted everything from Big Bird, as did probably a bunch of you people. So I'm not the only crazy lunatic kid that was wanting to color him. And so again, naming a bird sometimes can catch fire, or naming just about anything can catch fire. So I'm in the last section that we're going to look at. And again, there's that anti-racism book that I'm talking about, the number 3 overall hot new release. And that's all I got to say. I said that last week and it's still doing pretty well. Now, here's another book that builds upon the theme that I talked about, the whole quarantine thing. This is My Summer at Home Journal. So let's take a look at what's on the inside. I'm actually really curious as what they actually put inside. Let's see if it's just a bunch of freaking plain lines. And it is kind of a journal, so they do have a couple different slots with some pretty cute little illustrations and some emojis, you know, because kids love emojis. Heck, so do grandmas. So I would pretty much put emojis in anything because overall they just sell. And here was one other one that popped up that I kind of thought was pretty interesting. Here's the 8th grade graduation one, but if I take a look back down here, I can see this Camp Quarantine, which once again goes back to my theme of quarantine and our coronavirus books. They're still hot and they will continue to be hot from now until the end of time. Now, one book that I saw that didn't actually come up in any of these searches, it did come upon the first preliminary search that I did, and so I didn't mention it, is a book about the election, or a book about Trump. And in fact, in my trends actual video, I talked about an anti-Trump book or a Trump disinfected book that I think would do excellent, as I've sold Trump toilet paper in the past and that did extremely well. And I think right now people would really buy that and eat it up. So that is one of my other ones. Now, the final one that I'm going to say, which is number 5, here's the presidential election one. Like I said, it's number 54. And here's another Would You Rather 4th of July edition, which again is in that same theme. But the last and final one that I would actually talk about here and or do is unicorns, because let's face it, unicorns are still hot AF, or hot AF, as somebody told me. Just cut it short, Liz, cut it short. So hot AF. So I would clearly probably still do a unicorn book if you have some money to back it up. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, if you have money to promote the book, unicorns are hot and they've been hot and they'll probably continue to be hot. So if you've got money, you definitely need a unicorn book and or any book that is themed with unicorns. So you could literally have an I Spy unicorn books, or sight words just using unicorns to communicate to children how to do the freaking ABCs. Any of that will work, just for the simple fact that we are dealing with unicorns. And that's pretty much a rundown of my top niches of the week. So if you guys enjoyed it, let me know and post your questions and or comments below. I always personally answer them. I'll see y'all in the next video.